Welcome to my kitchen. Let's make this easy 4-ingredient chocolate espresso fudge. First up, we are going to need a 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, 2 tablespoons of espresso powder, 3 cups of chocolate chips. If you use dark chocolate, maybe add another half to full tablespoon of espresso powder, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. You're also going to need a 9-inch baking pan. I'm using a baking dish, but you can use a square pan. We're going to need some aluminum foil, and we're going to need a little bit of butter to grease that foil once it's in the pan. So first thing we are going to do is take our aluminum foil and pull out a nice long sheet. And you want this sheet to be longer than your pan. So you want a good amount to stick over on each side so that when you press the foil down inside the pan, you will have handles left over to pick it up when the fudge is fully hardened. So let's get this pressed in. And see how even when I have it pressed down in, there's still plenty hanging over the edges. And again, this just makes it really easy when the fudge is all nice and set up. You can just grab a hold of these and lift everything out in one shot. All right, now that we have that all pressed in there the way it needs to be, we are going to take our little pat of butter. And with one of these little pastry brushes, I am just going to make sure that I get a nice generous layer of butter all over the bottom and just up the sides a little bit. You don't need to go all the way to the top, but just make sure that you have every inch of the foil covered so that none of it sticks to the bottom of the fudge. So first thing we're going to do is take the sweetened condensed milk, and we are going to use one of my favorite can openers. Now, if you have never seen this before, it's called a swing away, and it has a handle that pulls out, and it makes it really easy to open the cans. And if you are interested in one of these, I will put a link to my Amazon shop down in the description below. But when you're done, you just tuck it in and it folds flat and it goes back into your cabinet. Now, if you're not familiar with an affiliate link, which is what I have with Amazon, it just means that if you put it in your cart through my link down below and purchase it within 90 days, I get a small credit for that, but it doesn't cost you anything additional, and it really helps my channel out. All right, so we're going to get the condensed milk put into the pan here, and I am a scraper, so I'm going to scrape every bit that I can possibly get out of this can, but I won't bore you with that process. Once it is in, we're going to put in a teaspoon-ish of vanilla. I'm not real good about measuring with measuring spoons when it comes to vanilla. And now we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of espresso powder. And again, as I had mentioned before, if you use dark chocolate chips, the dark chocolate tends to have a little bit of an overpowering effect to the espresso. And it's a good idea to add another half tablespoon or full tablespoon of espresso powder if you like that flavor. Now we're dumping in the chocolate chips, and we are going to stir this all together. And I'm going to put my stove on about 3. I don't want the heat too high, just enough to get it melting. And I am going to let this sit on the cooktop and let it melt down. And it took about 10 minutes to get it to this stage, which is how we want it. It's nicely melted and it's all creamed together. And we are going to get our pan that we previously got ready. And I am going to just dump all of this into the pan. Now, the way my kitchen is designed, the way I have to hold this for you to even see it coming out of the pan is very awkward for me. But we're going to get this all scraped out. I won't bore you, but I will scrape the pan clean. And now that I have it all dumped in here, I'm just going to take my spatula and I am going to work the fudge around the whole pan, making sure I get it even and tucked into all of the corners. And then once I do that, I just take the side of my spatula and I rub it across the top just to get the top as smooth as possible. We're not going full-blown professional here, but just to make it look as nice as we can. And now that I have that done, we're going to stick this in the refrigerator and let it set for at least an hour, but about up to 4 hours. and make sure that it's nice and solid. So here we are. It has been about 4 hours. I went out and worked in the garden for a little while, and this is what I was talking about with the handles. You lift up the foil and it pulls right up out of the pan. Then you just want to take that foil and push it down all around the outside. And now this little tool that I have here on the side that I'm going to be using, I'm just going to take this and smash down any edges that were sticking up. But if you're interested in this little cutting tool, I use it when I make breads, granola bars, all kinds of things. I will put a link down in the description for this as well. But I'm just going to take and press down and start cutting my fudge into pieces. You see how nice and thick that is and how it came up from the bottom? Now the bottom will have a little bit of butter on it, but again, not a big deal when you're presenting it. It's going to be facing down. And I'm basically cutting these into bite-sized squares. You can cut them into any size pieces that you wish. These little muffin tins are rectangle. Sometimes you use them for brownies or little mini loaf pans. If you're interested in these, again, I will put it down in the description. I did a craft video and I made this. It's a to-go container, so it's all ready to go and kind of has a waxy lining in the inside. You can either take a little muffin cup and put it down inside and start putting your fudge in there, or you could not and just use it in between the layers, since this is, like I said, a to-go cup. But this is just one example of how you could put this into something really cute to give it away as a gift. And back to these, sometimes I do those gift boxes with the kind of clear window in the top where you can see some of the goodies inside, and I will fill it with all kinds of different treats and give them away to people. And so one of the ways I do that is, again, cutting it into bite-sized pieces. And then I will just take and start stacking those in. And I usually just do a single layer on these. And if you do bite-sized pieces, you can get about 6 in one of these little trays. And the little tray is never going to sit up nice and perky, but if you have quite a few of them in the box, they kind of fold up like this when they're set inside next to the other ones, and they end up looking really cute. Or I also have these little miniature muffin cups, and these are perfect for just one individual piece per cup. And if you're doing several different kinds of fudge, like peanut butter fudge, regular fudge, fudge with nuts, it makes a fun presentation. But here's what we looked like in the end. Let me tell you, I'm not a fudge girl, but espresso fudge is a game changer. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.